All right, welcome back to another installment of Julian's Random Project, fresh off the slow boat from Japan. I think I bought this thing a few months ago. I damn near forgot about it, and it showed up in the post today. So it's actually one of two shipments. The service broke it up in two for me. Very kind of them. Or maybe I won two auctions. I can't remember. It's been so long. So I thought I'd take you guys along. I know we had a lot of fun building and fixing up some of the GameCubes before, and I wanted to get back at it again. Of course, I don't make a lot of money on these things when I send them on. It's more just like rehoming them after I've got them up and running. But shipping was very expensive on this. I'm almost embarrassed to say. But let's figure I'd take you guys along on cracking this thing open. Give you an idea. Like if you buy one of these things from these Joust company, and there's a couple other intermediaries that'll let you purchase stuff on Japanese auction sites, and then they'll forward it along as a proxy service. I found out after doing this that Metal Jesus, that's his name. Jesus, I couldn't remember the guy's name. So Metal Jesus did an interview with somebody that was doing this on a regular basis to find rare imports and things like that from Japan, and he does a better job explaining some of the nuances, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of, one, it takes forever for this thing to come in, so just set it and forget it. Like, think of it as a present for future you from Japan when these things get done. Find a couple things, and also any auctions you've won, they will bundle those together and ship them out all at once. And so I would advise doing that. Make a plan, or just do some, a few weeks worth of shopping on that site. Let them all settle at the distribution center and then ship them all on. Just be careful they don't get these massive boxes going. They tend to be getting a little on the heavy / expensive side, and your mailman will kind of roll his eyes at you. So let's dig into this one and see what we've got. Before I crack this thing open, I'll mention that this looks a little caved in. I don't know, just normal. I'm not sure if they noticed that it was fragile or not when they were manhandling this thing, but I anticipate a few broken GameCubes when we pop this thing open. The other shipment, which I've already opened, that came in, did have some broken units in transit. And the way I know that they were broken in transit is because they did a really good job of wrapping these things up and getting them, well, not such a great job that it could handle this kind of abuse, but what can. But they did a really good job wrapping them up individually, and then when I took it apart, there were little broken pieces on the exterior of the GameCube just floating around inside the packaging. Now nobody would have gone through the trouble of packaging these little shards of plastic, so those were created during shipment. So these had a rough life. So again, keep that in mind when you're buying these things. If you're hoping to get a single GameCube in and amongst all of your other things, or like one rare video game system, you might want to order two just to kind of hedge your bets. All right, even with a big gash on the bottom side of that box, I didn't notice, not only until I rotate the box back, I realized this big gaping hole in the bottom and the back side that they've done their best to tape up, and they used that hole to slip a note in from the postmaster saying, sorry? Like, not here's how to, here's your recourse for the damage we've done, or here's how to file a claim. Just, we know you expect better. We wish we could have done better. I don't know. It's weird, man. So here's what we've got out of the package, and again, I've plumb forgot what I actually ordered. It's been so long, so let's discover it together. I'm gonna pull this packaging off, and we'll see what we got. All right, there's the haul. What is this? 2, 4, 6, 8 GameCubes. Well, 8 GameCubes and some Japan shakings, like toaster shakings, but less umami. The guy or gal who packaged these, I'm not sure if they cared about GameCubes or what, but a lot of them were feet to feet. So the inclination, I have the same, is to stack these up. But in reality, this runs the risk of scratching the backside. You'll see, not that this one happened because of that, but not that these scratches are from that type of activity. But this is where those back feet would be, and then the front feet are rubber, and so less likely. But they were nice enough to put these feet to feet and then wrap them up and package them up, bubble wrap that way, and so just the feet are scratching each other. Not as bad. Now when you get these, you're expecting a lot of them be yellowed and dingy like this one because they're being sold as junk, as it translates. To get some of these that are very clean, well, that one's got scratches, that's a bad example, but this one up top, look at how glossy clean the top, the lid on that one is. Definitely some decent ones in here, including this orange one. Now, if you've seen my previous video on cleaning these guys up, none of this scares you. A little bit of dirt and dinge here. These things are built like tanks and are going to clean up very, very nicely. I might throw them all in the dishwasher as we did before, or at least just the worst of them, so they'll just get a quick wipe down. Now, some of you might have noticed this extra bit here on the bottom, and this allows it to, now finally, yes, finally, become a cube, where before it was lacking in that department. So now, with this add-on, it is full-on GameCube in all of its dimensions. Now, it also has this Game Boy player adapter and has the plugs to allow for a lot of the accessories that plugged into this thing. And so you can do some amazing stuff with that. One, you can play your Game Boy Advanced games in some of the best resolution in existence. And the guys, that's right, the My Life in Gaming folks, that's right. So yeah, those guys, their production is so high. They must be, I mean, they clearly have got scripts, and they're organizing stuff and rolling B footage and recording, this stuff ahead of time. They're just masterful. If you want to know how to build a YouTube channel, that's definitely one way of doing it. And I love that intro music, man. I can't get it out of my head sometimes. And they really dig into depth and go in as geeky as at least at the level I like to go to. So if you haven't seen their channel, definitely check it out. They've covered, that's how we got on that. They've covered this accessory in some detail about being one of the best ways to get your Game Boy Advanced games to play at 480p, or some rendered version of that, through the component cables that came with GameCubes, or the very ubiquitous now adapters that would take the digital out on the back side of these guys and convert it to HDMI. They just plug right in and you're done. It's the same thing that I previously on this channel soldered into place. Someone's brought that external by reverse engineering the plug that mates up to the back end and then bringing it all outside of the GameCube. So definitely worth doing. So when I saw these all kind of bundled up, and again these are on an auction site from some guy in Japan that has like maybe has a repair shop, maybe has like a buying used, new and used video game shop, and these are all trade-ins, and they bundle up, they pile up at some point, and he's got to clear them out of the back because space, not unlike the Bay Area here in California, space is at a premium in Japan. There's only so much of it. It's an island, for goodness sake. So they've got to clear that stuff out, and when they do, they're selling it cheap as chips. And the guy takes a photo of it on his crappy Nokia potato phone, and the resolution's not that great, but you get the idea. It's like this many junk GameCubes, which junk is usually implying that they're untested, or they've been tested and found that they're not working, or they don't come with all the cables that would be needed to get it to play properly. So any number of things mean junk in Japanese. So don't be too afraid of it. Take a look at the photos. Now, the reason I jumped on this one was the way that they were stacked. The one of the GameCubes was slightly higher than the one next to it, but they're all stacked up, and it was like, let me see if I can reproduce the situation. So it was a photo not unlike this, like an up close photo of the stack of them, and they were all accounted for when you looked at this, like 1, 2, 3, 4, done. And another photo showed the other ones all the way up to 8, including the orange one. But I noticed that gap, right? They're standing on top of each other, but why is this one taller? And they're on a flat, what looked like a piece of wood in another photo. And if you know anything about the GameCube adapter for the Game Boy Advanced, then you know that it occupies about that much space, and wouldn't you know it, there it is, bumping this guy up and in turn bumping that up. So I knew that there was at least a Game Boy Advanced adapter in that lot, and luckily it ended up being 2 of them, including this rare orange one, the spice orange color they call it. So here's another challenge that I have with this orange one. You can only see it from some of these different angles where it was like stacked up with the other guys. There was units on top of it. So I didn't notice that these stickers existed there. Now my plan is to clean this up, get it up and running, and that'll be a future video where we see out of the 8, or maybe out of the total, all the ones that we bought, how many of them can be fixed and put back into the wild. That's a future video. This one comes with these authentic, from Japan, I don't know whether these are Pokemon stickers. I have no idea. You guys tell me. But does that add value to this thing if I clean it up and leave them on there? Or should I just remove them and make with the Goo Gone and sell it super stock and clean? I don't know. They're not my thing, but you guys would know better. So if you want to see how we get on with these, I'm going to put a sneak preview at the end of this video with, I don't know, a couple of these things, see if we can get one of them working. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to follow along at home, make sure that you're subscribed. The bell apparently needs to be clicked if you want to get notified of new videos. I don't know how that's different than subscriptions, but YouTube. And let me know in the comments, how many at least out of the 8 of these, how many do you think are going to be back up and running in short order? Let me know. And thanks for watching Julian's Random Projects.